This is an NCR PC4i, which is an XT compatible computer made by NCR, which was released in 1985. I've been eyeing up this particular machine since 2017 when it was posted on eBay, and I have finally managed to acquire it. So the speed malfunction note is because this machine has a V20 processor in it, NEC V20. I've replaced the original 10 meg MFM hard drive with an XT IDE. One of the things that really made me want this machine was the display. So it's a double scan CGA. It's 640 by 400 resolution, and the monitor is super sharp. Let me pull in here, and you can see just how good the focus on this is. Let's start up MTCP here. You know, I don't have any other machines with a CGA in them, mostly because I found just the way the CGA text looked was just not very attractive, but I particularly like the font on this machine. The colors are all also very good. As you can see here. So I have shown in the past my PC4, and I do need to do a kind of an interior tour of that machine. It's quite different from this one. Let me go ahead and spin the machine around and I'll show you how you access the computer part. So the video cable comes out of the back of the machine and then plugs into the NCR graphics array card. There is a single kind of locking catch here that we can remove, and then the computer part pulls out on a drawer. And if I had a bigger table on which this was set, you could actually just completely remove this and without disconnecting the floppy and hard disk cables. Let me go ahead and get this out of the machine and then we can take a closer look. So inside the machine, you can see we've got a network adapter. This is the NCR color graphics card. This is a mono card. It's actually the one out of my PC4 and the XT IDE. There's 640K of memory on the system board. The 8088 processor actually lives about right here. Nice little setup guide. The floppy disk controller is built into the motherboard. You can see it down there. There's a little copper clip that takes the cables and routes them appropriately, so you can just slide the guts of the computer back in without pinching a cable. And you can see how now as I slide the computer part back in, the cables just lie on that kind of shielding. There's a D-sub connector at the front of the motherboard that gives it power, but annoyingly video we still have to hook back up, and this connector is designed with kind of like jacking screws. You have to screw it in. It won't, if you just put it on there, it doesn't actually make a connection. So that's a little bit annoying, especially when you're trying to troubleshoot the system, because you have to take the computer part out every time to get at it, which means unhooking and rehooking the video. Gets a little tedious, but that's okay. So here's the data plate on the back. The actual model of this is a, I guess the class is like the model name is 3277, and the model is 1201. And I think the date should be back on the back of here somewhere. No, late 84. The graphics in this actually runs at a really weird frequency. It's 55 hertz, and I'll have to look up the other specs. I don't remember them offhand. But it is not the same as as an EGA monitor, as an MDA monitor, or a CGA monitor. It's its own thing. So, hence the caution on the back of the video card. According to the service manual, the graphics in this system are programmed virtually like regular CGA. So you end up with a 640 by 400 by 4 color screen. Unfortunately, I've not been able to find any software that supports it. You know, there's also a 640 by 400 mono mode, which is probably a little bit more useful. I have a feeling I'm going to have to figure out how to write my own driver for like Windows or something else. But with this color screen, I figure I could come in close here and show you just how nice this monitor is. It's so sharp. Which was really one of the main reasons I was interested in this system. Yeah. On this system, I'm running MS-DOS 4.01. And this is actually the MS-DOS 4 version of DOS Shell, which I'd never really seen before. It's very different than the one that comes with DOS 5. You're kind of intended to set up these program groups. Everything is access. You have to push F10 and then go into this menu, and you can add and change entries. And then these end up, you can launch a program or batch file. So it works okay, but it's a little tedious to set it up. And there is actually no single executable that runs the DOS shell. It's launched from a batch file. Let me show you what that looks like. So you've got this DOS shell.bat file, and then there are two executables. There's the shell B program, which you launch that and then call the batch file originally called, and then shell C, which is what actually renders the thing. And you can see all the options that get set in here. The shell.meu, that's the actual like binary file that contains all of those settings. Then it ends up being kind of a looping batch file. Very strange. But it does work. This is the original hard drive that was in this machine. It's a 10 megabyte ST212. It's hooked up to a Western Digital hard drive controller. This is like the second generation of Seagate drive, a single platter, although it presents to the controller just like an ST412. It has the same geometry, so kind of easy to configure. I took the front panel off and just attached it to the inside of the bezel to mount the ID 3.5 inch ID hard drive inside. You can see there's a crack here, here, and here. The system was shipped extremely poorly. I think it actually got dropped on a corner, and the force of the impact was so great that it bent the drive cage that the discs were in. It bent like the chassis of this Seagate hard drive, and it dented the bearing on the spindle motor. So the spindle motor on this is really loud. The seller had posted a video of it running. Granted, it's an older video, but the drive was quiet. I'm amazed the machine survived at all, and that hard drive worked. But yeah, this thing weighs, geez, I don't know, 60, 70 pounds. It's really heavy. It's significantly heavier than the monochrome PC4. All right, well, kind of a not very well shot video. I couldn't find my tripod mount for my camera, but I've been looking at this machine for a long time. Finally got it, so I figured I should show it off. Thanks for watching.